we're only just over 2 weeks away now for the start of the season. We've already brought in 6 guys, but I think there's a feeling that we still lack a bit of quality in places. There has been some names kind of tossed about in the past few days, both in terms of outgoings and incomings. Can you give us a wee update, Andy, on who, where we are with the state of players?
Well, certainly as we discussed at the weekend, it looks like the first 2 to be leaving will be John Souttar and Danilo. As far as we're aware, they're still in talks. Interest in John Souttar from down south. I think it's Paphos from Greece that are certainly one of the clubs in the run for Danilo. So we're still waiting for news. They missed out on the trip to Spain, so they could sort of explore those options. So I believe they'll be the first 2 sort of cabs in the rank to head out. Derek McInnes said to us at the weekend when we sat down with him over in Alicante or Benidorm, that they, some of the work that they're doing recruitment-wise is probably going to have to sort of be paused somewhat until they can get some bodies out. I mean, as you say correctly, I think I tallied it up. I think right now, if you're talking about senior pros, senior professionals, I think there's a 28-man squad currently on the books. 10 of which are what you might call central midfielders. So, it does show you that they're bloated in some areas. They'll certainly get probably more than they need in certain areas and not enough in others. So, as far as I'm led to believe, I think they're looking at another left-sided centre back. I think they also want a sort of difference maker in midfield. So your Jens Herto Bertal comes into that. Your Draganovic, I think we had a wee debate over how you pronounce that at the weekend. I'm not sure I've quite mastered it yet. Obviously, a Lewis Ferguson as well comes into that category. And then I think wide options is really where Derek McInnes is keen to spend the bulk of whatever remaining budget he's got left. I think they've only really spent about £4 million so far on these 6 new players. Obviously, I think Ivar Pandur comes in for £6 million, but obviously Hull paid 3 in return for Jack Butland, and I think Robbie McCrory cost just under £1 million. So there should still be plenty of money to spend. A lot of that, though, in terms of where they prioritise it, will depend on Nico Raskin. Again, as we spoke about the weekend, I'm not sure, unless they can get him sold, I'm not sure that they will really push too far out in terms of the positions through the middle of the park. I think, having him on a fairly substantial whack of wages as well, and knowing that, if he does go, he'll bring in a fairly big fee. Again, we debated that at the weekend, how big it'll be, but it should still be fairly substantial in Rangers terms. Until they can get that money in the bank, I'm not so sure you'll see much activity in that central position, but I think you'll definitely see them pushing ahead now. As I say, a left-sided centre-back, wingers predominantly on the right-hand side, and then if they can, they'll look to bring somebody else in to sort of bulk up or to add a bit of finesse in midfield. But as I say, there's definitely work to be done getting guys out. There's been a lot of deadwood collected over the years, and trying to get rid of these guys, as we've seen, has been problematic. I mean, Jose Cifuentes, it seems remarkable to me that he's still a Rangers player, given he's been posted missing in various loan moves over the last 2-3 years. Danilo sort of maybe falls into that bracket again, just given how far down the pecking order he's fallen. So getting these guys moved on, especially guys like Danilo, who were handed some pretty substantial contracts back in the day. I mean, we're talking about high 20s, maybe even at the 30s, if you take into consideration all the bonuses and things that come with that. So, there's huge amounts being spent on guys that aren't contributing at all. So getting these guys moved on, freeing up wages, will really allow Derek McInnes to push on.